There are clearly perils of being the second last speaker. There is a lot that has already been said. So I'm going to try and make it interesting. I'm going to tell you a few stories. Are you all up for that stories, guys? Yes. Super, great. So a few years ago, we sat down and we asked ourselves, what really gets an investor excited to come to work on a Monday? Somebody in the room said, it's the adrenaline rush of doing a deal. Somebody else said, it's a joy of meeting an exciting new age founder. Somebody else said, it's the absolute lalach of getting to learn something new about a new sector. And then we said, is that good enough? Maybe not. We said, can we add a fourth dimension to it and say that, you come to work because you can really generate profits but have a purpose behind it. That's how we coined this term, profits with purpose. And then we sat down and said, what is purpose and what impact can we do as one private equity fund, right? So we said we'll specialize only in 2 activities on purpose. Only pick 2 causes and not too many because you'll really spread yourself too thin and achieve nothing. The first cause we picked is we saw that a lot of children get educated and get funding for education at the lower level. But very few women children get education for the higher level. So we set up a foundation called Multiples Good Faith Foundation, focused on funding the higher level education, the technical education for girls. And today, proud to say that 170 such girls have been funded by the Multiples Good Faith Foundation. The second cause we picked is to say diversity and inclusion. And we didn't pick this because some LP was asking us to do this. We said we actually felt that this could be an impact, and it helped that we had a woman founder at the top. So it came Dil Se, right? It was a true purpose that we were chasing, and not just a metric. So here is a scorecard after many years of this chit-chat that we had internally on how we have done on these matrices. We truly believe that the board carries perspective and not just a briefcase. Today, our team is 40% women. But more importantly, our investment team is 1/3 women, and it's really hard to get high-quality women investing professionals to stay with you across the ladder, right? An analyst, associate, VP, principal, and MD, and we have got women across the board. In our portfolio companies, which is where we felt we can make this impact at a higher scale because you are only one organization, happy to say that 75%. So 75 women are in very senior leadership position and account for 20% of all our boards. We have more than 20 DEI dashboards which have really been taken up in our boards for review, 50 plus inclusive DEI policies. 200 women have been actively mentored. And each of them is a champion and an ambassador. And more than 6,000 women have been added to the workforce through our portfolio companies. So when we reflect back and see how do we feel about this, after that chat that we initially had, we feel that today the competitiveness doesn't come from a uniform, it really comes from the perspectives that really challenge it. So very, very happy to have reflected on this. I'm going to tell you one more story. This is all the impact. But what really made it happen? Because more than us as multiples, it's our portfolio companies that can make impact at scale. As investors, we know that what you measure is what happens. So this is what we measure at our portfolio companies, and I'm just going to show you a snapshot, right? So we actually ask our portfolio companies to grade themselves from level 1 to level 6. So what is level 1 to level 6, right? So from not yet started to people who are exemplary or leading. The level 1 are people who give you a rose on the Women's Day and say, hey, you know what, we're so extremely happy Women's Day. So that's not really anything to really talk about. Whereas level 6 are people who have an active DEI plan, the companies which have a plan and have gone about implementing it. From a representation perspective, you can see we are looking, every single portfolio company, we measure this to say how many women across what level from a senior leadership to the workforce. At a hiring level, how do we really grade them? And eventually at the engagement level. So it's about showing the founder a mirror. And then we said, this is okay. But if it really has to get into the blood of the founder, you need to show them the mirror along with what the competitors are doing. And this is just an example of one of our portfolio companies where we showed the founder, hey, you know what? I'm going to benchmark you with 2 other companies in the same industry, and this is how you stand. You have 0% women on the board. You have got 14% women across the organization and only 19% in the leadership, whereas your peers are doing much better. And this really got them thinking on saying, what more can we do? And then they, kudos to them, because then they went about hiring an all-women processing center, the first in the industry. And then they conducted a woman-only hackathon for their tech team, right? And very targeted hiring on the road. We also figured that there are some systemic barriers in that company, and then the company worked on it to overcome it, like flexible working policy, et cetera, et cetera. So if there's one takeaway that I want you all to remember here is what gets measured gets done. That's true for investing, that's true for DEI, and that's true for maybe most things in life. So then we said at the overall portfolio level, how are we doing, right? And we said, okay, there are mature companies which have excellent processes and excellent outcomes. And then there are the basket cases which have neither processes nor outcomes. They need a lot of foundational help. We call them critical. Impactful, they have no process, but they're magically delivering great outcomes. And that's only because it's organically working well. There is no structure to it. And then there are people who are trying very hard at the process. Intention is good, but there is no outcome. So when we looked at our portfolio companies and bunched them into these, we said, therefore, each of them needs separate types of help. There is no one-size-fits-all. So for the mature companies, we said, you're doing a great job. We are going to call you to talk to all of our other portfolio companies and just be a role model. For the guys with a lot of effort but no outcomes, we said, let's just diagnose what is the bottleneck and help you get some quick wins. And for the guys who are really at the foundational level, especially in traditional industries, we are really handholding them on, sort of getting them up on the curve. And then on the impactful guys, we are saying, you know what, you just got lucky because you're up on the curve without enough effort, so let's build some formal structures. So that's what we have done at the portfolio level. One other initiative that's worked, so don't look at the slide, it's too crowded, is a leadership training program for women called In It to Win It. It's not a one-day workshop because people pretty much forget it. It's a 6-month granular exercise of working with them, mentoring them, and really working through 2 aspects, helping build power and influence, and second is helping resolve conflict management. So about 35 women across our portfolio companies have been trained. And let me just sum all of this up with a short AV. Thank you.
Every investment has the power to multiply, but the real question is, what are we multiplying? At Multiples, we multiply impact, purpose, and transformation, not just returns. Our vision is rooted in our philosophy of profits with purpose. We enable businesses to evolve into inclusive and socially relevant organizations for the 21st century. Our approach is built on the power of multiplication. One company becomes an ecosystem. One solution creates multiple impacts. One investment transforms countless lives. Our purpose is orchestrated under Multiples Shift that focuses on safety and inclusivity at workplaces, our own and also our portfolio companies. We are enabling inclusive and diverse workplaces by providing a platform to HR leaders and DEI champions of portfolio companies to engage and learn, empowering next-gen women leaders, harnessing their full potential by giving them opportunities to lead, developing women talent pool through training, networking, and mentorship programs, empowering women in the community through upskilling. Companies are going beyond gender inclusion. Inclusion thrives through influence. Multiples Shift acts as a catalyst by engaging boards on DEI and Suraksha progress. Driven by Multiples Shift, Our impact spans gender diversity and inclusion. Multiples.
Thank you.
Multiplying impact, transforming tomorrow.